All right, guys, it is the Why I'm Angry podcast. We are back, and it is the chef here in the Man Cave, Freestyle Man Cave studio here in Troy, Ohio. And we are getting things dialed in a little bit more. We're working on getting to the point where we're full service podcast. We have everything set up. Commercials come in at the right times. We have all of that kind of thing going on, and we're being polished. And so that is what we've been doing over the last couple of months. I wanted to kind of get in and give you a few quick thoughts on on the inauguration and what I saw today, and kind of going through things. And so I just wanted to get in um, while it's still fresh in my mind. A couple cool or a couple things that I saw, especially even tonight with the balls being so close, and fresh in my mind. It was really cool to see that Thomas Paine come out, and one thing he said about the military is that the people in the military right now, are the ambassadors of the American fighting spirit. And I feel like that really embodies what the military should, and the pride that you should have, that you're standing on the shoulders of the former military, the former guys that and gals that won world wars, that won and fought and fought for territory in our country, fought for freedom from the tyranny of England at the time. And really you are the embodiment of that, and that's honestly an amazing thing. And it just really embodies it puts into words really the pride as a military member that you should be able to have, that that you were the fighting spirit if you're a veteran, and that you are the fighting spirit if you're now a military member. And from the Why I'm Angry podcast, we're proud of you, and we're excited that you will now have a good bit more um backup, just a better support system. And so some other things, he looked, the all of the speeches, the dancing, um the inauguration, the actual inauguration, it felt very official and presidential. It felt exciting, and it felt like there was just, you know, it felt like a new good time. And I don't remember that with Biden. I feel like with President Biden, it felt like it felt the opposite. It felt stuffy. It felt just just like we were going through the motions on it. Like it was just you know I don't want to say funeral esque, but it felt very solemn like that. And today, as it was very presidential and very you know very official, it felt like there was some energy to it. So, um, I a few talking key points that I saw. We're gonna try to roll back the Panama Canal deal, which always felt like a weird deal. That we gave them, they gave it to us for 99 years or something like that, and they paid $1 or something like that for it. And you know at the end of that, it came back to them. And I don't, Whether that seems like a good deal or not, I don't know. He says that China now runs it. And I like that, I was looking at through a few of the, other news organizations that just to see what they had to say about things. And that was one that they came up and said that he falsely said that claimed that China, ran the canal. And, honestly, if China is using the canal more than anyone else, if China is, controlling because of their use of the canal, controlling the prices and things like that, they own the canal. I mean, that's and if China's running it, it's a bad deal for us. We built the canal and we leased the canal and we controlled the canal for so long. That's supposed to be a good deal for us still. That's something that we're wanting to keep in there. Um, I mean, obviously, no surprise with the immigration. That he signed the executive orders for the immigration and things of that nature. And that he was mentioned that in his speech. Going back to a golden era. That's what he ran on. He make America great again. Say he talked about being saved by God from the assassination for making America great again. And honestly, I don't think you walk away from an assassination attempt or a car accident or something that's life threatening, like we said before, without being somewhat changed, or having a mandate, on your life for that. So I don't think that was anything super exciting, even though people keyed in on that. The Hill keyed in on that as one of the five highlights of it. And then he was just critical of Biden's work, which obviously is a big thing. Obviously, is how he was elected. Is he, you know, ran against the Biden's work. And one thing, it was interesting at the end, or not during the actual inauguration speech, but after the inauguration speech, he said um, that Biden pardoned himself and his whole family. And in one of the speeches, he said that causes or shows a bad precedence. Well, yeah, it shows a bad precedence, but he created that precedence because he went after the former president. Like, nothing like holding a grudge, like going after the last person to run the country. And really, there are supposed to be checks and balances in the Constitution that you're not allowed to prosecute or to go after your political opponent because they were your political opponent. Now, we've gotten away from that when we started, working on doing things like impeaching presidents and getting, and things like that, where we were vindictive about it, even like when he was president the first time. And so I think that was something that, you know, he keyed in on. It says, he said, makes you look pretty guilty. And I think that's something that I don't think he has the plan to go back after those people, or the president or president's son. I think he wants to reunite the country, um, and reignite our ability to as a country to be great, to do deals. The one of the interesting deals that I've been hearing from him is that he's talking about the country, and I don't think he knows exactly how this would work, or how the country will how it will work. It's the TikTok deal. He's saying how if the president, he's almost extorting TikTok by saying if he's as the president doesn't doesn't approve the sale or doesn't approve TikTok for the country, then they're worth nothing. Which isn't 100% true, but they're worth a ton less if they're not in the U.S. We're a consumer country. We consume as many or more goods than almost any other country. Um, and with that being said, um, you know, if you're not in the US, you're nothing. It's tough to say that you run at as high of a level if you're not in the US. Now in cars, maybe that's something you can say because the European Union, even a lot of European car companies don't run in the US. And part of that's tariffs. Part of that's the shipping abilities to get cars over here. Some of it's safety standards, and some of it's the new, green initiatives, the electric car initiatives and stuff like that. But to really in on the TikTok side, you know, so he's saying if they're not worth, if they're worth $1 trillion, that if he accepts them there, then maybe there's a deal to be made for the country to make some money off of it, for the country to do a joint deal. And I don't know how exactly that looks or how exactly that works, but we'll see. So that all being said, we're getting into this. We're getting ready to launch the new Why I'm Angry podcast stuff. It's going to be a lot like the old. We're not going to lose the fun and the excitement of the old Why I'm Angry podcast, but we're going to polish it up a bit. And one other thing that I thought was really crazy, if you didn't get to see, he did an interview, or he did interview questions while he was sitting in the Oval Office, while he was signing the um, executive orders. While I was signing a bunch of executive orders. He did, at one of the first victory spots that he was at. He signed, a bunch of executive orders and things of that nature, and then he went back to the Oval Office, and I'm sure Melania was getting ready and changing and stuff like that. I don't know how. I don't know that she couldn't have done it very super fast because she was a model and all of that, and most of them are trained to be able to switch clothes fast. But I think it was more the fact that he just sat down, he started answering questions, and it just was without being an angry mob, it was just kind of a natural answer questions thing while he's signing documents. And they tried to tell us, or they tried to say, what each document was as he was signing, and I thought that was good. I thought that was way more transparent. I feel like today's proceedings have been more transparent than we've had in years, probably 4 to be exact. And so there's some things to be excited about. Now, I'm not 100% just super on it, excited, and not and blind to the fact that there are some things in the works that you know just as much as Biden or Harris or anybody else, as a Christian, he can usher in the mark of the beast, the end of times and end of things, as well as anyone. And even with this Elon Musk's, you know, Skynet and all of that, or Sky Mesh, um, there's some things. So super excited. We'll be back on Tuesday, tomorrow, or almost, well, today, since it is 12:15 today, in just a few hours. We'll be back on around 10 o'clock, and we'll have a full podcast, full setup, and we'll be ready to go and just give you kind of my full thoughts of the inauguration, and we'll see if we can get anybody else on and get things going. So really love you guys. Great to be back. Great to be talking again. And I think this is going to be great. If you have arms and legs and use them independently, you need the Why I'm Angry podcast, and it starts now. Remember to follow, like, and share the Why I'm Angry podcast across all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcast. The Why I'm Angry podcast ends now.